There's going to be really three things that we're going to talk about today. I mean, book sales, you can talk about a lot of different things. Marketing and publicity and pricing and all kinds of different things. But the thing I'm going to present first, and then we'll talk about it, are three specific things. And then I'm going to leave about 30 minutes at the end so we can all bounce ideas off each other for pricing. I know there's lots of information on that kind of stuff. So Tracy, if you could step forward. So the three things we're going to talk about is the business of book sales. Book sales is a business. Market value of the books, the actual value of the books, and how to try to get closer to that. And then ebooks and book sales. So what are ebooks probably going to mean for our kind of book sales, used book sales? So those are the three main things that we're going to talk about. And then, like I said, at the end, we'll have plenty of time to talk about pricing in different places and all kinds of information so we can learn from each other. This is just some things, food for thought as we go forward. So go ahead, Tracy. So business. This is the Webster's definition of a business. It is a noun, it's a person, partnership, or corporation engaged in commerce, manufacturing, or service. So whether or not we think we are, it's not, selling books is a business. It's not a hobby because technically, even if you don't think you are, Webster says you are. Because you're creating a product or having a product, you're transferring that product to a customer for a monetary amount of money. Therefore, that is a business. You are conducting business. Doesn't mean you're a business person, doesn't mean you're Microsoft, but you are engaged in business practices. So that's what we like to focus. That's one of the things I'm going to focus on because a lot of times, too, also, because you're in a business, you track funds that you use. Yes, you do. You report on those funds. You're also obligated to the IRS to make sure that those funds are recorded. So, like I said, whether we like it or not, we are a business. We are a business. No matter if we're a staff person, volunteers, no matter what we're doing, what we are is a business. And so part of this, and the thing I get all the time about books is, well, they're donated. They're free to us, so whatever we get for them is fine. Well, I take some... I don't like that personally because I think if someone's going to trust something to you as valuable as a book, it's our obligation, frankly, as a nonprofit organization to maximize the revenue of that material for the library. That's what the donor wants. They're not giving it to you. If it was a cash donor, they give you $100, you would just use it however you feel like it, waste it because it was free for you. You make sure that the donor's intention is to trust you with their material so that you can do the best benefit for the library. And so we take that very seriously in Phoenix, and we think that's part of our responsibility, frankly, is to make sure that any donation we receive, we make every opportunity to either put that in use at the library, meaning the actual book itself. If the library doesn't need the book, we will try to sell the book and maximize that revenue for the things they do need, or we'll try to donate it to someone who can use the book in a different country, a different place, a different nonprofit, whatever we can do. Even if we have to recycle the book, and that's okay to have to recycle some things because they're broken, they're damaged, or whatever the case may be, we then use that recycling money then to turn back into the library. So we make sure that they do get something from that donation. We do not want to squander a single donation that anyone has. And the thing is about donations, sometimes you will get a lifetime collection of National Geographic magazine, which someone thinks is the biggest treasure on earth. And that's okay, to them it is. And so you still have a responsibility to that person as well. So it's relative, depends on where it's coming from, but we appreciate everything. In Phoenix, we take everything except magazines, our newspapers. We will take magazines, we will take National Geographics, we take everything. In fact, we will pick up everything. We'll actually send a van or someone, a volunteer out there to pick up everything except for newspapers. So, okay, good. Yep, another picture. Okay, so I'm going to reference a couple books today, obviously, as we go going. One of them is Managing a Nonprofit Organization. This one goes in with the book sales as a business. And so, nonprofit, and again, along with being a nonprofit, if you're a volunteer at that nonprofit, staff person, a nonprofit is a business, and they have a very important product. And Peter Drucker, which I recommend this book highly, I'm going to read the whole quote for you. It can fit on here, but I'm reading it. The nonprofit institutions are human change agents. Their product is a cured patient, a child who learns, a young person who grows into a self-respecting adult, a changed human life. So the product, if a nonprofit is a business, then this is our product. This is a very important product because there's very few other people that can produce this product. And this product is what keeps society moving, in my opinion. And especially books have a key component to this because they're the things that can change, I think, human lives to the better. Is education one of the things that can ease poverty? It can do all these things that other nonprofits can't do. So, along with that, I'm going to share a book that I just recently read for you. Go ahead. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. This book, if you haven't read it, is quite remarkable. It's about a young man. His name is William Kamkwamba. He's from Southeast Africa. This book came out, I think, last year, late 2009. I guess it's 2 years ago. And so he was a young man in Southeast Africa. He was 14 years old, and he very poor, obviously. He's in rural Africa. Could not afford to go to school. So he's 14 years old and not even in school. You can go to school there if you have enough money to pay for it yourself. This young man, there's a famine in 2002, and most of his village was decimated by this famine, and then he died. During this famine, many people were out looking for work, doing things. There was no crops to grow. They relied on corn for food. He went to the library. He found this little charity library in his little village, and in that library were English textbooks. They were discarded textbooks that came from programs much like ours. In fact, we donate to these programs quite often. So in this library, there's an old English textbook about how to harness wind to make electricity, some physics, intro to physics, different, very aged textbooks like that. So he taught himself English, and then he taught himself how to make a wind-generating electricity in this little village in Africa. And so what happened with this is, again, during this famine, this did 2 things. It had 4 light bulbs and 2 radios in this village, which to them is a massive, huge thing. Because either, if you were rich enough to afford to use kerosene, if not, you just went to bed at 7 o'clock. It says in the book. And so he was able to stay up and read, and this was a massive thing for this village. The second thing it did is it irrigated water. So now this village can do 2 corn crops a year, which will save them from famine forever. So that's a changed human life of the business of nonprofits. From the book, the organization that collected those books, to the people like us who donated those books to get it to there, and then to that young man who was able to teach himself English and teach himself. And by the way, he made all this from garbage. These are PVC pipes, little bicycle you see up there. The generator for it is from the bicycle that, when you pedal the bike, it makes the light go, that little thing that sticks against the wheel. The wire he used, he got from automobiles, old junked automobiles, along with the light bulbs. He pulled them out of automobiles as well. So the whole thing was made from trash. He made the entire thing from trash and changed his village probably forever.
Can you say the name of the author of this book?
William, it's Kamkwamba.
Please spell it.
KAMKWAMBA.
Thank you.
You saw the internet the first time, I think, in 2008, the first time you built the internet.
Thank
so
you.
in a quickly blown mind like that, the internet was a powerful tool. So all that, again, he did because an old, an old book he saw. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Tracy, one more. All right, so that's my topic on book sales as business. It's an important business, I think. And it's an important business that we're in, changing these human lives. And that's not just this kid in Africa. That's kids I see every day. Come in this library, there's some reading programs, all the great programs that we help support. And what we do, I see every day, which is phenomenal. It's not just, this is an exceptional example, of course, but this happens every day. Okay, any questions or anything so far? On that part of it? Okay, so market value. I'm sorry, I want to go back. Market value, to accomplish market value, it basically means, okay, the price of the book is basically what someone will pay for it, right? That's the market value. There's 2 sites that we have used in the past to determine market value. And this is the first step. It's research, market research. You want to find out what that book is worth. So this addall.com is a free service. You can go to that right now, and you can put in the ISBN number, and it will give you the book. It will give you the price of the book and who's selling it. That's the problem with this site is it's like I said, it's a market research site. The information is vast and it's kind of jumbled together. This is actually Bookstop Pro is a service that you can subscribe to, about $7 a month. And you can subscribe to this service and it will do this for you in a different, more efficient way. And it scours every single bookseller that book on all the internet. So if you go one more, Tracy, I'll show you what these look like. So this is the addalls, all addalls. So the screen before this, you type in the ESPN, which I happen to have the Associated Press style book in my desk, so that's what I used. And As you see here is the price of the book, 99 cents. This is who's selling the book, and this is the basic description of the book. And this went on for 20 pages. So I can pretty safely determine this book is basically 99 cents is a low price. There are some in the screens below that were high price of about $40 or something. So you can say this book, obviously it's more towards the dollar range, right? So that's really the true market of the book because that's what people are selling for. And this is really the last time it was sold was for that's the descending order. So if you go one more to Bookscout Pro, this Bookscout Pro set. So this determines value. And again, you can pay $7 a month for this, but it's actually probably worth it. Again, same book, Associated Press style book. On this side, though, we see that Amazon, it's the U.S. market, the sales rank, which Amazon sales rank, if you follow that, that's the 205,000th best-selling book in Amazon.com. Seems like a lot, but actually in Amazon.com, it's not bad. We have books that are in 4 or 5 million, so it's actually 205 isn't bad. It says the original list price of the book is $17.95. Here's the Amazon new condition. There's 45 of them in that new condition at $2.55. There's 407 copies listed at a penny. And then there's one collectible edition at $6. It has a signature. It's a first edition something with somebody's somebody. eBay, same thing. 6 of them, 99 cents, and so forth and so on. So it scours the major sites and it tells you what it's valued at each site.
Jason, is that 1 cent for 407 Amazon used? Is that for just the starting?
Yes, that's the low price.
It would go from 1 cent to
Yes,
100.
absolutely. There's 94 of them. They start at $1. It's giving you the low price because most of the chance that used books are going to start at the low price. You probably don't have the best one. And some of these, the higher ends of them, they're just people that aren't following the market. They're just putting a price in there. Their books, so they just want a certain amount of money regardless. Again, the buyer sets the market, not the seller. Those are people that are probably the seller trying to set the market. No one's going to buy at their price.
And also, it's not distinguishing out the rare and collectible.
There's Amazon Collectible 1, and there's Libris Used 25.99. So there's not this particular book is not a collection of items because it's obviously it's not a type of book. But yeah,
Do we do the research to show you the information all about shipping?
no. This is the actual book now because each. I was talking about eBay. Like selling it on the internet is one way to maximize your market value. It's not the only way. It's one way to do it. There's other ways to do it. So we'll start here because, again, if you're not shipping the book, say you want to put this book out at a book sale or something, you want to get closer to the market value. Again, you're not going to do the most expensive, but you want to get close to the market value and know what it is. Because what happens if you don't do this and you see book dealer after book dealer scanning through everything you have, and they're happy when they leave, that means you value yourself way too much. And that was one of the things that really started us on our journey of selling books online, is because book dealers would not only come in mass with their technology, but they would also gloat about it the next time we saw them. So, and the thing for us was that was money that we were leaving on the table for the library. The money we're not raising for the library. We're not a wholesaler to book dealers. So if there's money to be made, we need to make it for the library, not for some guy that comes in and scans every book and throws them all over the place. So the first thing to do, like I said, first now you know what you got, right? The second thing is to find a way to get that for it. And one of those ways that we started with is, which I'm glad Carol's here, is a room called Barbie Select Books. So what we did is put a little room in our book sales, and a lot of people do. Tucson does it also, it's like a collectible room. So you can put higher prices on it than your general stuff. So you try to get closer to the market value. Getting $1 for this is pretty easy, because our prices are $1 or $2. $2 for hardcovers, $1 for paperbacks in our general collection. So this would fit in there perfectly in our general collection. And then half price on Sunday, so it's $1.50 for our book sales. The Barbie's room is a place that we can bring the higher value stuff up there, and then one is better condition stuff. People don't have to go through all the books to find the best stuff. It's better condition stuff, and then we can just try to start to get closer to the real value. And that was our first attempt to do that. Without the internet, without anything, we just wanted to find a way, so we would do this, just to find really nice stuff. And you can eyeball certain things and know that they're going to come up like this. Other things, not so much. Any nonfiction, you should always check. Fiction, obviously, those are not going to come in very well. So if you're limited on resources, you really need to check certain categories like fiction, nonfiction, those types of, especially the nonfiction, the art books, the, different philosophy, that kind of thing. But if you can, you check everything, because you never know.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you get all of those books checked?
Well, you have a lot of dedicated volunteers.
So they would type in.
Well, yes, you can type it in. We also have scanners that will do this for us. So we have actually little barcode scanners that will scan this.
Okay, and then like the gentleman on the front row said, when you see them for a penny, that means you're probably going to have $5 postage.
That means
on
if
it.
you get $1 for it, your sale, you're happy. We're happy because you're making 99 cents over its market value, really. But you will
But those,
because
well, I wanted to order, it's a little neon sign, I won't go into any details on it, but it was just a silly little gift. It was a penny, and I said, great, $35 postage.
that's exactly right. There's certain people who are selling on there that will throw the penny up there to squeeze out. But the good thing about this is you can go over different sites. You know that these Amazon guys are just trying to get a little shipping out of it. But Abe, which is a very reputable site, it's for $1. eBay is not, so you can sell, that's really not about $1 probably, right? And so that's why, if now eBay was coming in at a lot more, or Amazon eBay books or something, then it gives you, okay, maybe we should look at this a little bit, try to price it somewhere else.
Well, where would they come up with $40 on the other page we're talking about, where they go all the way up to $40? How do they justify that?
Well, they can't. You can't. That's some guy that really just, maybe they're emotionally attached to the book. Maybe it's the first book they were given as a gift. It's not the market. It's not determined by the market. It's determined by that person.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Are you selling these books in your bookstore, or are you selling these online?
Both. We're selling them in the bookstore. We're selling them out in the hallway right now. We're selling them in Barbie's room. We're selling them in our warehouse, and we're selling them online. And we're selling them at every library branch in the city. So we're selling them every possible way we can.
Where's your Barbie?
Barbie's room is in our warehouse. So when we have our book sales, we invite people to our warehouse, which is about 3 miles away from here, and it's a special little room within the warehouse that we sell. But it's the same books really that are in the store out here, because it's just the higher. And that's another way we get higher value. We look at them, we push them to the store so we can get closer to the market value. Now there's dealers that come to the store all the time. But you know what? Instead of getting a 500% difference, maybe they get 10, 20%. Some of them are willing to live in that 25% revenue they get out of it. But we're not giving them away. We had one guy, you've all had these guys. This guy flew in from somewhere, ransacked our entire book sale, left with all of our textbooks, spent a couple $1,000, which we were happy about. Came back the next week and said he made $40,000 on books. And so, those guys, like I said, so we left $38,000 away, with him instead of the library. That drove me crazy. So that's why it's not just about the internet. The internet's a good way to get market value. There's other ways to get market value. You have to know what that is first. So.
When you have more expensive books, which we're planning on selling here, do you have any special security for them to make sure they don't walk?
No, not really. The really valuable stuff we will sell on the internet, because we can control that very closely. You should, because that's really where the market's going to be. Because the $200 book market, there's very few people in that market worldwide. And they're not going to walk in our store. They're not going to walk in our warehouse.
Let's say a $30 book.
$30 book, those are generally on the internet too. Because it's not, depends on if it's a really big book, we'll put it in the store. And, because the store's fairly secure. There's always a person there. There's a small little way. But, the $30 range, we hope we sell it online because it's controllable. There's a worldwide market for it all the time, and there's you can connect with those buyers a lot faster. Yeah. We segregate everything pretty carefully because we don't want someone. If someone doesn't buy that $30 book, we don't want to sit in the shelf a year and then someone does steal it or something happens to it. So we want to make sure it goes. Plus, we have to find it to ship it to the person. So.
Is $30 where you start on?
We actually start at $2. Yeah, $2 enough. Depends on the size of the book and lots of different things of the book. We'll sell books for as low as $3. And part of it is if we can turn that book over and sell it for $2 in the next 20 minutes, well, I'll take the $2 now instead of 6 months later at the book sale. So in 6 months from now, that book may be worthless because maybe like the Salinger books lately just been flying off the internet late because something happened. By the time the next sale comes around, they might not be valuable. That's the other thing about the book market online. This will change. If you scan the same book in 3 days from now, this is different. It's just like the stock market. They go up and down. If somebody releases a book, it changes. If somebody dies, authors die, it changes. There's lots of things that affect this. times of the year, school time, reading list comes out. I mean, it's constantly changing. So it's a very live thing. So
When you put it online, does it go under the name Phoenix Public Library?
yeah, ours is Phoenix Friends. So if you go on Amazon and you type in storefront Phoenix Friends, that's us. And we have about 60,000 books.
So people don't know that they're buying it from the library?
Absolutely, yes, they do. Because in our description also we a big huge letter say 100% of this purchase will support a nonprofit literacy organization. So we want them to know, because all things being equal, which price is always king, all things being equal on like say Amazon.com, people will buy from us because they know it's going to a charity. They're happy to support a charity. It's not doing to them. They just because we're the third one down, so they see that they've got to buy. And we also put on there, former library books, things and things. So yes.
How do you deal with the shipping costs? Do you bill actual or flat rate?
It depends on each thing. As we sell on, we're getting a little ahead. Let me go through a couple more because I have a whole thing on internet sales. So let me get through this a little bit, and then we'll have 30 minutes first. Okay, go ahead, Tracy. Okay, so these are some of the sites we do sell on. Okay, and so we actually are available on all these sites and a few more actually. And so what that does is it maximizes your exposure online. And again, you can do this though through other ways. There's third-party sellers, which is also important. So if you're not able to sell it on your own, you can still maximize that market value again by contracting with someone, having someone sell it on your behalf. Now, there's many of them that are out there. Go ahead, Tracy. Let's send one more. So the third-party sellers, we've used all of these actually. Better World Books, we used to use those for years. B-Logistics out of Denver. Thrift Books is here locally in Phoenix. Gable is a fairly new one that we just tried this last fall. And Friends of the Phoenix Library, I'll explain this in a minute. But this is where we started actually, we would sell the really expensive books. That's how we first started selling. About 2003 or 2004, we went on 8 books, and we would sell at $300, $400 collectible items. And we sold about 500 books. We had 500 books online at one time. The other stuff that we couldn't process, didn't have the volunteers to do, didn't have the technology to do, the space, we would send off to these people. It was very successful, actually. The drawbacks, however, are several. One of them is, I just thought it wasn't a very good, 50% is generally what you get out of the wall. The thing that's not really transparent. One of the parts of this is you send your books off, someone sends a semi-load or a truck, you put them on the truck, and that's the last you see of them. Then you get these reports from them. And sometimes they're really good, and $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and they're really nice. But the other part is, you send them a truckload of books, it's about 50,000 books, say. They would say they listed 8,000. What happened to the other 14,000? Not that I really thought they were valuable, but maybe we could do something else. Maybe we could, again, maximize that donation. Find someone locally that wanted it. Some other way for us to get, and plus you have to pay the shipping. Like I said, you're splitting it. But you know what? Splitting $40 is better than selling it for $2. That was what it was. That's the best we could do at the time to get closest to that market value, that magic market value. So we did that a lot. We still do it. In fact, we just sent something to Gable because the only things that inform this is how they sell books. And they are professional booksellers, so they do it very well. But Gable, for example, is very unique. They charge you 75 cents a book if they sell it, and then you split the rest of it. So it's, they all have different formulas. Really equals out to about half. But you know what? Like I said, half of $50, $40 is a lot better than a couple bucks at a book sale. And that we would never probably sell. Some of the more expensive books, people that come to our sales come to the store. I mean, like our price point there in that store is like $10. Nobody's going to spend money on books in that store. That's really rare if you're going to spend money on $10. So we needed a way to find people who were willing to spend money $10. And that's the internet. That's how we did it. And this is another way that we did it. We just contracted out, sent it off. So we started selling for ourselves in 2006 using a software called Monsoon. What that does, it's a listing software. It reprices books. It automatically puts them on all the websites. When you get an order, it takes them all off the other websites, and essentially the order is very, very, it removes the people who need it. We had to do what we did ourselves, and it replaces it with technology. So the computer software does all of these things for it. Processes the order, pulls it down, does all this stuff. Very, very, we still use it today. What is it called? It's called Monsoon. Monsoon. In fact, most of these people use it. Everybody on this list uses it. Or a version of it. And like I say, it's a book selling software, so it'll list the books for you, it'll process the orders for you, it'll take them off the internet for you, it makes listing them easy, it makes processing orders easy, and it does a lot of stuff. You just don't need people. You just don't need nearly as many as you did before we did something like that. There's several. We've compared them all, and Monsoon for us is the best because of the customer service. Because again, we don't have IT people. They're the best, most responsive for that, and they worked out best for us. Now there is other options, but they're not as robust. Like with Monsoon, and I'll be on the forum. I recommend everyone go back to the forum because that's where all this. That's where this will be. Any questions you have about this specifically, we'll be happy to answer for you. But just for us, Monsoon it just made the most sense. It's the cleanest. It also reprices every book every 12 hours for us. So that means it's getting that new market information all the time and updating it for us. Because the problem with it in the past when we were doing it ourselves was we put a book up there for the price that we saw. 5 days later, every other copy sold. We're the only one out there, and we missed out on the $20 because it really went up. As the price went up, we weren't checking it fast enough to raise our price with the market. And on the other side, say people start adding your book, we have it at $20. That's probably why these guys have it at $49, and it's down to $1. But when they put it on there, maybe it was $49 or $40. Well, a year later, they haven't changed their price to front the market, so now there's no possible chance that it's going to sell.
You can't just go to Best Buy and buy Monsoon.
No. Monsoon is monsoonworks.com is the website. If you want more information, and there is a very small version. I think it's $500 or something you can buy it for. Use. It's fairly inexpensive. We have a bigger version, but it's fairly inexpensive, and it's very, very reliable. It's very well. The customer service is very good. They've been in business since 2003, I think. So they've been around actually pretty long for it.
So lease service?
Yes, you pay for the service initially. You pay for the software, and then you give them a commission on the book sales as well. It's pretty small, so you give them a commission portion of what you sell. So that's the only ongoing fees that you have. It's just a percentage of what we sell.
So they're taking a percentage and
Soon takes their percentage. Everyone wants a percentage.
Are you still back under 50%?
Well, we're better, and that's what we want. That's what I want. I wanted to, because these are easy. They're easy, like they'll come out there, they'll box them up for you. They'll do everything for you. You just basically have to call them, and they'll take the 50%. But we thought we could do better, and that's why we started looking into things. No, Thrift Books is local. Gable is not local. We're somewhere out in the Midwest somewhere. But they contract with people locally, and they'll send a truck out. They're pretty easy to work with. Anything that you think you can get rid of, Gable will definitely help you get rid of it. The stuff you get 100 copies of Da Vinci Code. They'll try to sell it for $1, $1 or something to make a little money on it. Never get that out of Da Vinci Code. But and then so since we've been doing this. Other libraries have found out about it locally and have asked us about it. So, because you need space, you need the software, you need all this stuff, they've asked us to sell books for them on their behalf. So we reluctantly, MAS said, okay, I guess we can try that. Because was never our intention, but we ended up, now we're selling books on Glendale Library, Scottsdale Library, the County Sheriff's Office Library, the Art Museum, Phoenix Art Museum.
Do you take commission too?
Yes, we do. We're a fundraiser, right? So what we do is we will take 15% basically to the markets, because that's basically what they take, the average out. And then we split it. We make it very simple. We make it very easy. We also make it available to come get your books. If you want to come back and get the books that we don't sell, come on back and get them. They're all yours. So yeah, we have begun. I'm not saying we're a third-party seller. That's why there's 2 questions. There's 4 question marks. But we will entertain the idea. If you're really interested in this, let me know. Give me a call or contact us on the forum. We've done it and we're willing to do it. So because really what we want to do is we want to help libraries get as much revenue as they can for their used books. We all know about the blue bins and all the other crazy stuff that goes on. So it's a competition with the other these for-profits, which we have advantages and disadvantages to that. One of the advantages is we can get related books from the community and with the library, so it makes total sense. So that's an advantage that they think that we have out there. But we have some other with lots of money and lots of people that bus technology. So, it is part of it. So, anyway, if you're interested in that, anything about Monsoon or how it works or whatever that, Libby from Tucson, we helped them get set up. So, they came and toured our warehouse. We're happy to let anybody else tour the warehouse where we have this whole system set up, and so you can take a look at it yourself. That's really what we do. To really appreciate the complexities of this, you have to look at it, because it's not just selling books online. The software is nice, but it's more the process than the software. The software is a key component, but the process matters more than the software.
So what kind of quantity minimums are there for these sellers?
I don't know if they have any minimums. I mean, we send basically a semi-load at a time, but they'll take a smaller truckload. They'll take whatever I think you'll give them. And honestly, after using all of these, I prefer Giggle at this point. I think they're probably the best. Just their formula's a little bit better. It's a little more fair. They're a little more transparent, I think. I would prefer them over the rest right now, although we've used all of these over the years. E-Logistics is really good for us for a long time. They've been around a long time. So there's others as well, but these are the ones that we use. So
have you looked at fulfillment by Amazon?
We have. For us, it doesn't make sense yet. For those who don't know, Fulfillment by Amazon is if you send your books to Amazon, their warehouse, the orders go to them and they'll actually send the books to them. For us, because we have a good group of volunteers that do that for us, and we have discounted rates from the post office due to our nonprofit status. So it's better for us right now to do it ourselves. At some point, they may not change. Right now, it's better to do it ourselves. But we have the facility, we have a warehouse donated to us that we don't pay anything for, 3 miles away. So that's not a big consideration. It does take space too.
So all these books are sent out by volunteers?
Almost all of them. We have a couple paid people because, again, there's a part-time person that prepares the order. So that has to happen every day. I mean, these people are waiting for their books. And so there's a couple key positions that are paid. We have a part-time person that does fulfillment, who prints the orders, gets the postage, that part of it, manages the mailing side of it. And then we have another key component volunteer that enters the books, lists them for sale. But there's also volunteers that do that. But we need that happening constantly. Especially if we're selling on behalf of other people. They don't want to sit in a warehouse for people on the internet. So we want to make sure that we get stuff, especially for other people on this festival. So we do have a couple of positions. But the thing is, that is a lot. That is, we used to sell books for about $100,000 a year. All of our sales together, everything together was about $100,000 a year. Last year was about $600,000. So it's enabled us to pay these people to do these things because of the amount of revenue generated. And not only that, we tripled the amount of money to the library. It's very successful for us. So 2 part-time people just to keep things going. We do 100, 200 orders a day. Some morning, Sunday, some Monday morning, we're coming in 750 orders over the weekend, and we need to get to these people. So we have to, plus volunteers get around pretty fast doing that. It's a lot of books to process and get to the post office. So, we sell about 5,000 books a month, roughly, somewhere in there.
We're averaging about 1,500 a week.
Ed Van Winkle actually managed the warehouse for us out there. So he not only is Stratos director gets in kind, so his primary responsibility is actually to find donations. So he goes out, picks up donations, picks up books from the library, does the logistical part of it. But he also manages the warehouse.
Well, we're pretty new and small. Is it worth it to bring down, 5 or 10 cartons of books to you, or is that?
Well, that's kind of the great part of our operation is that we have the scale that we would go do that for you. We'd come get them. And so we do, and I don't want to.
Well, it depends. That's why contact us and let us know because it depends on where you live. There's lots of facts, where you're coming from.
Okay. You guys got your cards, right?
Yes. So just talk to us and see where you're at and see we'll be happy to talk to you and tell you what we think the best way to do. So, all right, really quick. What is it, Tracy? E-books. Any other questions? Like I said, any of this stuff we'll be happy to answer after the or later at the conference, or by email or phone. We'll give you our cards, and we're happy to talk more about it. But I wanted to get e-books in there because, one, I just love talking about e-books. I can talk about e-books all day, but it's significant to what we do and the future of what we do. I think. So you probably all heard the big announcements. 966 million in sales in 2010. Amazon, of course, announced that they recently, last month, their e-books outsold their There are new printed books, 2 to 1. Now that's the top 1,000, and that's the key piece that they don't really put out there. That's only the top 1,000. That's only new books. So that's not any used. That's not talking about the used. That's the top 1,000 new books. That's very key distinction, especially for us. And then since 2009, ebooks have increased 176,000, which I'm sure is a surprise to no one. And a couple of things. These are some of this stuff I'm going to talk about is done by Barnes & Noble, did a big research on ebooks, the Forest Research Group, and Goldman Sachs have all combined some of this stuff that I'm going to talk about. And also a lot of it I got from actually the CEO of Alibris, the presentation last summer. His name's Brian Elliott, and so a lot of this stuff is from the presentation I gave this summer. So as well. Go ahead, Kirsten. Okay, so you see that 160, but this is books. I mean, that's $20-some billion. So yeah, $1 billion is a lot, but not really in comparison to the whole book market. It's growing and it's going to grow. But what people miss in that is the comparison to what the book market really is. It's a huge, huge market. And so if you include used books and new books in there, the e-books right now is still a very small piece. I mean, it's growing, obviously, but it's nothing compared to the total book market. Okay, go ahead, Tracy. Okay, so this is the Barnes & Noble prediction of what ebooks will be doing in 2000. They say physical books are going to be right in the $25 million range, $24 million. They see a down percentage, 10% down in the market, and they see this big growth. So you see this ebooks, but still, that's a huge amount of difference, really. I mean, there's still a lot of difference in there. Barnes & Noble thinks that the market will go down, like I said, 10%. Goldman thinks the book market will go down, drop about 12%, and the total share will be 22% by 2014. So this will be, so it'll drive down the regular physical book sales a little bit, and it'll be 20% of the market by 2014. Now it's moving fast, so but this is what these 3 people pretty much agreed on. So let's Tracy. So here, but the other key thing here is the used book market. So really, as used book sellers, which most of us are, well, we have very few new books that ever come in, but we do get once in a while. See, this is the new book market. So they predict that the actual used book market is going to tick up right along with the e-book market. And that's because these books are not being reprinted in electronic form. These books are new books that are being released in electronic form. There's some that are reprinted in electronic, but not very many. So people are going to be scrambling to find these older books because they're not, and even the ones that were 2 years ago that were e-book form, and now you can get that were in paperback. But now that they're printing both at the same time. So used books, they think will be a 11% growth. Books, again, this is Rome, so this is a different one. But they see ebooks going up 47% by 2013. But they also see the used books going up at the same time. Because again, they're not releasing old books. So those Da Vinci codes that you all try to struggle to get away with, at some point that will reverse. Because that will not be in ebook form, it will not be reprinted, it will rue the day that you ever threw away that Da Vinci code.
Just like the Gutenberg Bible.
Exactly, just like the Gutenberg Bible. It isn't there anymore, it's rare, right? So, Daniel Steele, someday this will be worse than that. You're going to have to hold on to them for a long, long time. A long, long time. And they may actually, because a physical book will be a rare thing at some point, even Daniel Steele. But at some point, because any rare thing is worth money, at some point it actually will be worth money. Because the Daniel Steele's will all be e-books. And there won't be a Daniel Steele on a regular book for a long time. But a couple things about this I wanted to mention too. The textbook market is another big concern here. Actually, last fall they tried the Kindle at certain universities to do e-textbooks. Big failure. Totally bomb. 90% of the kids threw it away. These are college kids. They love technology. And one of the quotes was, this was some things that, the technology I was using organized my thoughts too slow. Slower than taking notes by hand on a computer, so I put it aside. So, yes, so only 10%, so 90% of these kids did not want to use it this way. These are college kids, so this is the future. And 75% of those kids would not recommend that ever to be a textbook. Ever to be a textbook. Now, that was on the Kindle, so it's a little bit different technology. So, but use like the iPad to do more interactive kind of textbooks, and so they're thinking that maybe that's huge development costs, huge thing. So the textbook, the academic world is thinking ebooks are a lot further off. So this is really a trade phenomenon. This is trade books right now. It's going to be trade for a while, they think, because again, the academic people just did not like it. You know, at some point there's some really cool things. You do videos built into the textbook, you do some really cool things. But right now it's just too expensive to develop. So, but the iPad has, you know, they're moving this way. The iPad really has some traction on this, and they're gaining some. The other problem with the ebooks that they see is the $9.99 price point. And a lot of people are printing books for cheap. You can buy a mass market paperback maybe for $5.99. So the $9.99 price point that the publishers are not budgeting on, taking lessons from the record industry. So what happens is they're telling them, these distributors, I'm going to sell this for $9.99. You have no choice in the price. That's the price. You will get $3 for everyone that goes through your website or whatever. So Amazon or Barnes & Noble that sells, they get $3 per ebook they sell, and they hate it. They absolutely. Amazon, who loves to gobble up everybody, absolutely hates it because they have no, they can't fill with price. Like they can't even print their books. Like they can buy a new copy of a printed book and negotiate the discount to beyond. So they can get everybody on the internet. They can negotiate that discount so low. That's why you see new book 32% off on Amazon. That's because they have negotiated volume pricing with the publishers to a point where even at 32% off to you and I, they can still make a lot of money. And they can't do that here. That's what they hate it. That's what they hate it right now. So that would probably change things as they work that price point. Okay, go ahead, Tracy, if you would. Okay, so this is the last slide, the pros and cons of and obviously they're pretty, I mean, right now you can't lend them, they're working on that. You can't share them. You can't resell them really. They're tied to the device, which is a big problem. The retailers, the rights, digital management material is really a problem. You can't gift them. There's lots of, the biggest con to them that I see and not a lot of people see. The biggest con that you see, I mean, they have their pros, no doubt about it. They're a great, cool thing. There's something really neat. You have access to lots of books. But one of the things that most people I talk to about ebooks that spells problems is just like the back of them, get them young. You can't share an ebook with a child. I mean, if you grow up handling books, feeling books, being exposed to books that way, you'll do both, but I don't think, very few people will put that book away that they grew up with and never look at it again. I mean, the physical form of that book. Plus the technology of the book is just, it's been around for 200 years. It's amazing technology. It's all there. You can throw it around. It doesn't get hurt. It's bound together. The technology of the book is actually quite sophisticated. It took hundreds of years to get there. And so the technology that came around 5 years ago, you can't surpass it. The technology is fantastic. It's portable. It's weatherproof. It's disposable almost. The technology is actually very good for books. So ebooks are a significant thing, and we probably will start selling them pretty soon through our website as well. But I think that used bookmark especially is a lot of life. So anyway, that's about it. We have about 5 minutes left, so I hope we would have some time for questions.
Well, I have to assume that most of us here are concerned with selling books on our book notes at our library branches. Are you saying that we should concentrate on internet selling as opposed to the book note selling?
No, not at all. I think book notes are not only provide revenue to the library, but they're also very important community service. I know lots of people in some of our neighborhoods, the first and only book they bought was that quarter book at the book nook at one of our libraries. It's very important. The thing is, though, if you do the research and know the market value, you'll find you have lots of dollar books, lots and lots and lots, most of you without them. So there's plenty of opportunity to put them in the book nook, raise the money. You're just not giving it away. You just don't want to give it away because the people that will take it and actually maximize the revenue are probably bookstores. And if your customers know more about you than what you're selling, that spells problems. You should really know as much as your customers. So you want people that sell something. When you buy a car, you wouldn't expect to know more. So people do. The guy selling you the car knows most about it, right? And so you should know as much or more than the people you're selling to. A lot of those book dealers, they have technology, which is actually, used to be pretty rare, but now anybody can. It's not hard to have. And you can can utilize that to get a better price. Even if you put $4 in a book nook and you're on the honor system like a lot of people are, and they take it anyway, you know what? That's, for what we look at, we have 15 branches that are all on the honor system. We've done our best. We've done what we can do. Put $5 on it. If someone steals it, someone puts $1 in there for it, we'll get that right. But for us, we've done what we need to do. We've done our due diligence. We've done everything we can. So to maximize what we can. But no, we think that we'll never stop selling books if you visit. It's a great thing for our community. And part of our mission, like everyone else's, is to make sure reading materials are available. With little or no money to the community. It's very important. So we do that. We donate hundreds of thousands of books, over the last year. We donate tons and tons of them. So, any other questions?
Okay. I'm just thinking of coordination and collaboration between all of us. We're all selling books. We all want to get, some value out of, this tangible item. And we can help each other out. I mean, someone comes to me and they say, I want to really, like do a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I don't have it. How do I find out if you have it? Or if Cottonwood has it, or if Sedona has it, or if Flagstaff has it? How do I get into that, database, whatever, to find out where is that copy so I can send someone to you as a customer and maybe someday you'll return the favor?
Well, a couple ways. Number one, on the format I would recommend, like I said, all this will be on azfriends.org. We just started that just for these reasons, so that the problem is we did a conference like this in 2006. Well, yes, we exchanged information. People but we haven't done one in 5 years. So there's no real easy way to keep in touch. So we started this online forum and website for all friends to interact with each other. You do just that. The other part of that, though, is everyone would have to inventory their books, which would be tough. So not everyone's going to be able to do that. Some are, but we can continue to do that. Like Tucson inventories. How many do you have right now? 15,000. So that's 15,000 books that you can search and say, you know what, Tucson has that book. But we'd have to all get there. But we can. I mean, it's not impossible. There's other free programs like Homebase. You know what that is? Homebase is one that works with Aid Books. And that's a book database that you can download at Aid Books for free and inventory your books. And you can sell them online if that was really listening for you.
For most of the Friends organizations in the state, they aren't Tucson and they aren't Phoenix. Pick up the phone and you call your connection at some place or Wickenburg or email and say, this is what we're looking for, because it doesn't happen often. I mean, every one of us has a list. So-and-so's looking for Jan Karen's such and such. And that's part of the reason I asked if you had a comprehensive list of everyone who was here today.
And we do, and we will, and we're going to share that. Again, that'll be on the website again. If you go to azfriends.org, you'll see that'll be on the website as long as all these presentations. And then you can post a forum. So if you want to ask a question of anyone other than today, you can do that, and we all can respond to that. So it's a way that we can communicate going forward. The other thing that we're developing right now is a website called Books for Good. And this is going to be a website it'll be a selling site for organizations like ours. It'll be the Amazon for Friends. So initially, since we already sell for people, you can search by their books. But it's basically going to be a nonprofit website to buy books. And there'll be more information as that comes along, and we can post that to you on the forum. It's not ready yet. But we're going to link our database into that, so we can sell books directly to that. But that doesn't save us commission, so we don't have to pay them 15%. Which, isn't a lot, but if you sell 50,000 books, that's what you sell, right? And so that's one of the things we're doing. You'll be able to search books. So like we sell on behalf of the Glendale Library. So if a Glendale Library friend wants to search the Glendale Library books, they can go on there and search just their books. So they know that their purchase will support the Glendale Library. So that we're working on right now, and that's, some of it, but again, those people, you gotta have them, you gotta have inventory. But, again, you can always email somebody, get on the forum, and maybe that's one of the forum things that we can create is, these are the books that we're looking for, books needed, so that, someone in Desert Foothills or something, you can shoot it back.
Because a book I needed was in my own library, friends, so I told them what I wanted, and the book showed up in a couple of days. But it was within my own library, but I got it.
And we can do the same thing, and just, books needed or whatever. Like I said, everybody can offer any advice on it and quote anything they want. And so, yeah, I encourage you, you'll get more information locally about that site, but that's just to keep us all connected. All these
What's the name of that site?
it'll be AC Friends, or ACLibraryFriends.org. It's actually live right now, it's still post on it, but it's a special activity to pick up.
Do you use, you mentioned barcode scanner, do you use any of the Lectures.com program?
It's just a keyboard emulator, so what it does is, basically it's typing for you. That's all I was saying. Sorry, but we are at time.
Are you collecting these?
Oh, yes, evaluations. Please be great to the evaluation.
I would gladly give you a coupon
I
exchange.
Again, anybody has any questions anytime, please let us know.
4 o'clock, we're going to do the drawing in the main room.
Thank you very much.
Main room, the drawing. Thank you, Al. There we go. 4 o'clock. Got George right on there. Thank you, that'll save you a step.
This is, this book. Oh, yes. This is session 1. We're in session 1, everyone. This is the first session. The next one you can.
I'll see you in a second, Pat.
Oh, no, because you'll get a ticket for your, you won't need your name. And they get a ticket from Tracy, and then we'll draw. So everyone who's running, you get a ticket. So you get.
Very nicely done.
You get a ticket from Tracy then. She's right there. She's got a ticket. So.
There you go. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's for drawing.
Boy, that turned out to be a nice little process improvement on my chair there.
Happened at the post conference thing too. So.
So we get a hold of you, 4 o'clock.
Absolutely, I have my card right here. Give it to you.
I'd like to be present.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm assuming you must be because I only have the other half. I don't have your name. And there you go, 4 o'clock, just in the main room. Won't take very long. We'll get the drawing.
Sure. Thank you. I'm glad. An hour from now on time.
Here you go, Tracy.
So much about this whole dynamics.
Thank you all so much.
Take my name for it. Just put it right
You're
there.
going out to the
Yeah, so I'll see you at 4, I'm sure. Oh, very nice. You know what I might do to, well, videotape that at the end.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We got 3 shots at it.
Right, well, I think I'm going to move the seats over a little bit,
Oh, okay.
and then maybe we won't have...
Hands in the way?
Yeah, poor folks. Let me, this one's over a little. I think you're okay in your space anyway, but the first row there I struggled with a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm just going to leave it running, and I'm going to make a little adjustments in my audio AV skills here.
That helps us. Glad to see you got an asterisk if I can't plan.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of asterisks up there. And then gifting. That's coming. So those things are coming. I just saw the finale. Oh.
Well,
I saw the last slide.
Can't show
Oh,
you.
did I? I'm sorry.
That's actually one of my favorite things.
Nobody can borrow your books?
Well, no, my wife, myself, my grown son and his wife, and my 17-year-old granddaughter are all on the same Kindle account. If any one of us buys a book, we can all download it.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, is that how you do it?
Yeah, you have to have the same Kindle account.
Right. Or you.
My daughter, I go, she don't have it, but that's not.
The downside of that is whenever my kids and my granddaughter buy a book, I pay for
Well,
it.
yeah, that's the thing.
But at least you know where it is. Sometimes I buy books, I don't know what happened to them.
And they're pretty good about reimbursing.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So what was, did you come from advocacy or were you just? Advocacy.
Advocacy.
How'd that go? Good?
Well, next to it, membership.
So membership?
He has a 2-hour PowerPoint video.
Push to the test, but Tim is, a coalition leader, and they're very friendly on healthcare. Yes, very passionate guy, and he really believes that, healthcare is going to be problem, and he really wants to make a difference. And I think he's right. And we're lucky to have him. He does that professionally, provides that, and he's generally donated to others. Okay, are we ready?
The seats right up front.
Yeah, there's
got nice
plenty of
windows,
seats right
big
here.
chairs.
Yeah, it's close. Well, I don't know if
Obviously, I want some
All right. So book sales. You're in book sales. If you've been in book sales, like I said, the way this works is you just keep rotating, and you can see all three. All three of them are the same presentation or same worksheet. So just keep moving around, and you'll have one more left. So if you haven't been an advocate, go to that next. And if you haven't been a membership, it's right across the way right here. So go to that next. So book sales. Now I know book sales have a lot of things in them. Pricing and publicity and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually not going to go over today because there's so much stuff to go over. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do this PowerPoint in about 30 minutes, 20 minutes hopefully, and then we'll open it up to just any kind of questions and roundtable from each other, and we'll all try to share and give each other as many ideas of how comprehensive book sales can do. So the three things I'm going to do, and this is kind of food for thought for later, when we start talking about it, is the business of book sales. Market value, meaning trying to get as close to the actual value of the book from the sale as you can. And because that means more money for the library, which is very important. That's why we're here, right? It's not one of the reasons. And then ebooks and book sales. And basically what ebooks are doing kind of, and I think they may do in the future is it affects us. So go ahead, Tracy. The business. This is the Webster's definition of a business. It's a person, partnership, or corporation engaged in commerce, manufacturing, or service. So whether you're a volunteer, whether you're a staff person, you are engaged in business. If you have a book for sale, you sell it to someone, currency exchange hands, you're conducting business activities. You're also counting that money, and most of us, if you're a 501c3, have to report to the IRS. So therefore, you're really a business. So like it or not, we're a business. And we're not business like Microsoft business, but we are business. And it's important business, as a matter of fact. So go ahead, Tracy. Word business has a very important product. That product is to change human life. Drucker's book, Managing Nonprofit Organizations, I would highly recommend if you haven't read it, to do that. Because it is the business of nonprofit organizations. And I'm going to read this whole quote for you. I couldn't fit it on there, but let me read this whole quote for you because it's significant. And what Drucker says is, nonprofit institutions are human change agents. Their product is a cured patient, a child who learns, a young person grown into a self-respecting adult, a changed human life. And that is true. That's our product. That's what we do. I mean, as the nonprofit business, our most important product is change human lives. It is kids that come in here who learn how to read, summer reading programs, all the great programs that we all sponsor, help, volunteer at. Just being at the library themselves. Here at this library, we do ESL classes, we do job training classes, we do GED classes. Those are things that change lives. And our product is this business, this nonprofit business, is just this, a change human life, which we are the sole providers of this product. We provide this product more than anyone else in the entire world. So that's why we're not only a business, but we're a very important business. I'm going to give you an example. Go ahead, Tracy, one more. Also another book I highly recommend, Boy Harness the Wind. What this is about is this is a young man named William Kwambi. He lives in Southeast, he's from Southeast Africa. And he's 14 years old in 2002. And in his rural village, they grow corn. Little dirt farmers that grow corn to feed their families. They store it the rest of the year, and that's really how they survive. In 2002, they had a severe drought. Decimated his village. Could not grow corn. The fields wouldn't grow. It was a drought. Not enough rain to grow the corn. So most of his village starved to death, frankly. He himself almost starved to death. And during that time, and he also was a school dropout. He had to pay to go to school in Africa. He couldn't afford it, so he dropped out of school. He's 14 years old. So he found his way to the library. There's a little library in his village, and it was a nonprofit organization that provided old English textbooks to this village. So in this village, there was all these English textbooks. No one in this village really spoke English, but that's what they had. And a couple of those books, one of them was Physics, Introduction to Physics. There was a book about electromagnetic forces and how magnets work and how electricity works. Well, he taught himself with basically pictures in these books how to read English. And then with that English, he taught himself how to make a windmill, which generated electricity. And he did this from trash. All this is trash. This is a picture of his actual windmill built in 2002. This is trash. These are old PVC pipes. He had no tools and no components. So this old bike frame you see here that they did, these are all just sap trees, a few trees he could find. He used wire from an old automobile that he salvaged. It was just there, the wires that run through the car. And he also used the light bulbs from the car. And so with this windmill that he taught himself how to make, he powered 4 light bulbs and 2 radios in his village initially. And then from that, he then built a bigger and better one. Initially, then after that, he was able to irrigate water, which meant they could do 2 corn crops a year successfully without ever having to worry about the rain. So that changed this, not only this young man's life, 14 years old by then, but it also changed the entire village in Africa. Because without this technology, without those books, this kid would have never been able to do that, and that village, who knows what happened to it. So this is a changing life. This is our product, changing life. Now this is a dramatic example. Like I said, it happens every day at the library. But again, this book talks about this kid and how he did this, and it's a remarkable story. It came out last year, 2009. So we highly recommend that book also. But so you have a program like that exports books to Africa, old English textbook, who would thought? We see them laying around all the time, right? One of those changes kids' life immensely is the village. The other thing is the programs like ours that donate to those programs and send them over there. We do it all the time. We put truckloads of those kind of books in boxes, which they end up in Africa, just like that. So I know we have participated in that, and we have video too. So that's the change human life. Again, an extreme example, but example nonetheless. Okay. Any questions? Anything so far? Okay.
This is a little off the topic, but we were in New York this summer. We saw somebody exhibit. Someone had done this in Vietnam, parts of Old American Outcome.
Exactly. It's amazing. I don't know how you could possibly do that. Teach yourself English and teach yourself. It's amazing to me. That's why I think it's so phenomenal. But it's a testament to what people like us do every day. I mean, you may not see it every day, and sometimes you forget about it. But this is the kind of thing that one business is doing. It's changed lives. And so part of that then means those donations that we get. A lot of people say, oh, the donations come to us for free. Don't pay anything for them. Therefore, whatever you get is fine. Well, I don't think it is. I think when a donor gives you a book, they're entrusting to you a very valuable resource that we really have every responsibility, frankly. We need to take it very seriously. To try to use that resource to its utmost. So we either need to get it in the library collection itself. If we can't use it there, then we try to sell it for as close to its actual value as we can, because we don't want to short that donor. They entrusted that donation to us, not to just do whatever we want, but they entrusted us to do the best we can for the library with that donation. It's every single person that gives us a donation, that's what they have in mind for the donor. So it's our responsibility then to do the best we can, make sure that donation gets its fair shake. So one way we do that is market value. We want to make sure that every donation we receive, we try to, if we're going to resell it at our book sales or whatever, we want to get as close to its market value as humanly possible. There are several ways to do that, but the first thing you have to do is find out what that market value is, right? And there's a couple examples of how you can do that. These 2 websites, you can look. This one's free at all. Many of you probably use it. You type the ISBN number in there or the title. It will give you lists of that book, what the price is, and so on. Book Scout Pro is actually it's a paid service. It's $7 a month. That does the same thing. It's a little more efficient. So you can $7 a month. But if you see the next screen, go ahead. See. This is a book that was in an adult. You can see it's 99 cents. And I have it sorting in ascending, so lowest price to highest. And you have the video Associated Press style book on my desk. So that's pretty useful. Here's the seller. This is the market, the Libris. And then this is the basic description, that seller. So we know that that book's 99 cents. So, you know, our prices on our book sales are $2 for hardcovers and $1 for paperback. This happened to be a paperback book. So if we get $1 for this at our book sale, we're right on target. We're right where we want to be. We're getting, you know, $1 for it. So that's great. And so this is one way we can do that if we go to the next individual. Bookscout Pro does it a little more efficient. You see here, again, same book, Associated Press style book. But this will give you a little more information. The sales rank from Amazon.com, which maybe you know what that is. This was the 205,000th best-selling book on Amazon. It seems like a lot, but actually Amazon is not. It ranks in 5-10 millions. So that's actually not a bad sign. It has its original sales price. This is the Amazon new price. So there's 45 books listed on Amazon right now at $2.55 is a low price for a new book. And then there's Amazon used, 407 of them at a penny. Amazon collectible, for some reason somebody has a collectible. Associated Press style book, I don't know what that could be. And then the A books, 94 of them at $1. eBay stores, some listed for 99 cents and so on. So these two sites are really good examples of how to get the current market value. But now this changes. Now next week if I put the same thing in there, it might be totally different numbers, depending on how many are for sale. Because really the buyer will determine the market price of anything, not just books. The buyer determines the price, not the seller. I can list it for everybody I want. I can put a collectible book in here for $400. Does that mean it's worth $400? No. It's because it's only worth what someone's willing to pay for. And this is a good example. This is kind of where that is vetted out, because this is what people are buying it for. So that's one way. Now, I'm not saying you need to put every book in the internet and get every single value, but you know, there's certain books you can kind of, you know, we've been doing this a long time. You know, nonfiction books are worth more, textbooks are worth more. Those kind of books are worth more. So let's try to get as close to the market value of that book as we can. Because if we don't, we put it out for $1 and it's worth 20. If we don't get the market value, a book dealer is going to come along and get the market value. So why would we give him the money and not the library? Because that's really what we're doing. We're saying, all right, we think we will support you, Mr. Book Dealer, who throws around stuff and makes a mess of our book sale. We'll give you the $20 instead of you, library, who we love and support and we'll do anything for. So I choose the library, and that's what we try to do. That's what it's important for us to get the market value on any we can. Again, the internet's one way to do that. I mean, everybody thinks, oh, I don't want to sell on the internet. We can't sell on the internet. Well, that's not the only way. You can do it, price them at your sales, using it to price it closely at your corners and those kind of things. So even if you put it in a book note, like you have a book note that's on an honor system, and you do this and say this book is worth $20, you put it on there for $20, someone steals it. Well, the way we look at it is, you know, we did what we could do. We can't have somebody at every book corner all the time. We valued it properly, put it out there. If you steal something, then that's on you. It's your bad company. So basically, we want to make sure that, especially for some things that we know are more valuable, we want to try and collect as much as the library. And yes, we do sell online, and that's another good way to get market value. But we also do it by putting it in the store. We price things in the store according to this, and we also use this to price things that are